Welcome to the PTSD Bunker Gear for Your Brain podcast. Post-traumatic stress disorder is not a death sentence, yet a rite of passage to a higher level of tolerance. Stay with us and come out of the darkness as your host, Carl WAGGS, shines a light on this very misunderstood disorder.
Welcome to PTSD, Bunker Gear for Your Brain. I'm your host, Carl WAGGS, and welcome to episode 294. Guys, if this is the first time you've ever found us, it's very nice to meet you. My name is Carl, and this is a podcast about post-traumatic stress disorder. But guys, listen, as I always say, we don't get real medical here. Now we take things really easy breezy. We look at things through the eyes of the emergency services, which is police, fire, ambulance, and dispatch, as well as correctionals and Coast Guard. And guys, I think it goes without saying military, right? Now, look, as always, guys, if you don't work in those lines of work, hey, it doesn't mean you have to leave the podcast. No, this is a really fascinating subject. Please hang out with us for a little bit. For those of you who do join it from time to time, guys, shall we get on with the show? I think we should. It's going to be a good week. And why is it going to be a good week, ladies and gentlemen? Because I'm declaring it a week of WAGGS. Yes, listen, I haven't done this in a while. And for those of you who don't know what a week of WAGGS is, this is when I take my most embarrassing stories and I share them with you. Oh, God. Look, you know what? I think they're going to benefit you guys greatly. They're incredibly embarrassing for me. But the fact of the matter is, I think this is where the real money is. Okay, so look, you know how we always go on about, you should get a doctor and you should get a therapist in your life, right? If you're dealing with this kind of stuff. Well, the thing is, guys, is that even when we have a doctor or a therapist in our life, this still isn't an easy road. And without a doctor or a therapist, God, it's even harder, right? So the fact is that it isn't just taking a pill and all of a sudden you get better. Yeah, that's right. Like, let's say your life is completely coming apart because of this PTSD, depression, anxiety. Well, look, I'm sorry. The second you sit on a couch with a shrink, look, things aren't going to magically just get better in one talk. Hey, maybe it will. You know what? If it's like Dr. Story, that could happen. But the fact is that usually it is a bit of a process. And while we're waiting for this process to happen, well, there's quite a bit of pain brought into an individual's life. Yeah, and guys, we're really talking about this whole mental pain, guys, because as we established, look, your brain, not a fan of pain. No, it wants nothing to do with it. But the problem is, guys, it really doesn't know the difference between physical pain and mental pain. You know what I'm getting at? Pain is pain. Look, you can stub your toe and that hurts, but guys, you get a broken heart and that's devastating, right? So you kind of understand how this mental pain is. So what I really wanted to do in this week of WAGGS is to let you guys know the stuff that I use, that I found really helped. Now look, is this conventional? Fuck no, it's not conventional. Of course it's not conventional. Because look, if it was conventional, everybody would be doing it. But guys, what I want to do is I want to bring to the table this week these little tidbits of information that I use that I can't even tell you how much it helped. So guys, what is it we're going to address in this particular podcast? Well, look, guys, as we've said, look, this PTSD, depression, anxiety, look, it throws a giant wet blanket over your entire life. It does. Look, I don't know a single person that either has depression or anxiety or PTSD that goes, oh, geez, my life's fantastic. Yeah, I don't mind this at all. It's actually quite fun. No, this will really beat you into the ground. And guys, as I said, with depression in particular, I always thought it was a happy or sad thing. And guys, that's not really the case at all. What depression does is it takes away the stuff that you enjoy doing. And guys, I've explained this before. Like, imagine if you have, something that you do that's a lot of fun that you do to unwind, right? Maybe it's reading a good book, or, maybe it's going out for a ride on your push bike, or it's working out, or it's gardening, or it's fishing, or whatever. But the fact is that we have this thing that makes us feel better. Well, the problem is depression takes that. Yeah, and it's a really weird sensation. Because let's say, for instance, I don't know, maybe you enjoy going for an evening walk. Okay, that's something that really helps you to unwind and let you process the day or whatever. It really doesn't matter. But then when you have a really bad day, you go to put your running shoes on and you just can't be bothered. Yeah, it's not that you don't want to. It's not that there's something stopping you. Well, you just don't feel like it, and this is what depression does. And the problem is that when you're suffering from this, guys, this can really do a number on your overall life. Now look, I understand the fact that, kids have fun, adults work. Okay, that's usually the way it is, right? You know what, when somebody's a little kid, you let them have fun and, they can play in the dirt with their little dinky cars, and you know what, you can get your skipping rope out or do a little hopscotch or whatever, it really doesn't matter, but kids are allowed to just go have fun, aren't they? That's what they do, right? They go out and they enjoy the world and they laugh and they joke. But adults, we don't do do this. No, very, very rarely will an adult go, oh, I'm sorry, I can't help you out between the hours of 6 and 8 because I'm outside playing and having fun. Sorry. What I do is I run around the backyard and I chase butterflies. Hey, what do you do, right? You know, it's something that I enjoy doing, and I'm sorry, but I know how busy it is at work and everything, but I'm afraid I can't work overtime or I can't help anybody because, quite frankly, I'm hanging out just having fun. Well, adults never do this. Now, guys, this is, I hate to say it, but this is where your salvation lies. Oh, can you imagine? Yes. Now, look, I know it sounds really, really weird to tell people that you need to just go out and have fun. But, guys, when you look at our lives in general, okay, what happens when you are constantly working, okay, and you never have fun is that it slowly kills your spirit. It does, slowly, right? Don't get me wrong. And I mean, I'm talking about the kind of work that, isn't fulfilling. It's just normal everyday work, and there's work at work, and then we come home and we've got laundry to do, and, we've obviously got to clean the house, and we've got to cook, and we've got to take the kids to sports. But the fact is that we have all these responsibilities as adults. Now, look, I'm not telling you for a second to, quit your job and quit all your responsibilities and buy a Volkswagen Bug and drive to California. I'm not telling you to do that. But what I am going to express in this podcast is, just how much of a lifesaver having fun can be. Now, look, I'm not talking about this irresponsible fun, like, you tell your family that you're out of here for a week and you fuck off to Vegas, right? I'm not talking about that kind of fun. I'm talking about stuff that, energizes you. And makes you come alive. Now, the problem that we're up against here is this PTSD, depression, anxiety. Well, it will constantly be telling you of how shitty your life is. And, we have this default as adults, which is really, really weird because the worse our life gets, the more we feel we have to work. Yeah, and I can remember when my life was pretty much coming apart and people were saying, you need to go out and have fun and, kind of cheer up a little bit and kind of look at the other side of life. And I'm like, how the fuck can I cheer up or look at the other side of life when my life is this shitty? Well, the problem is, guys, is when we find ourselves in this hole of, life is kicking the shit out of us, what I found, me personally, is this fun stuff. This is what's going to save you. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to fix everything in your life and you're going to be happy again, but the fact of the matter is that if you can find something that energizes you, that's pain management for this stuff. It is, okay? So let's take the situation that you're in right now with life. And you know what? If yours is anything like mine, the problem is when this PTSD, depression, anxiety hit, the last thing I wanted to do was have fun. But what you have to understand here is the game is, look, if we don't find stuff that energizes us, if we don't find stuff that's fun, life is going to keep us here. Yeah, we're not leaving this miserable state. Right? And the problem with this is that when you go through life with this state and you don't have fun, you keep really serious because, you think that's the right thing to do. When you get to 80 years old or just before you pass away, whenever it is, nobody's going to come into your room with a gold star and say, congratulations, you stayed serious your whole life. Yes. And for that, we give you whatever. It doesn't really matter. No, guys, that doesn't happen. Okay? The fact is that if you stay serious and miserable your entire life, that's how you will stay your whole life. Now, the interesting thing is that when we have fun as human beings, well, guys, we enjoy it. Okay? It's really, really that simple. And when we enjoy something, well, we look forward to doing it, don't we? Right? And it really doesn't matter what it is. And you see that little part there, that part of looking forward to, that's what I want to clamp in on. Okay? That's exactly what PTSD, depression, anxiety will take from a person. Okay? That stuff that you look forward to. Because remember, depression, that's what it really does, is it takes away the stuff that you enjoy, right? So the thing is like I said, the game is now to find this stuff that we enjoy. Okay, that all sounds great in theory, doesn't it? Right? Okay, well, that's fine. Okay, if I'm really depressed, I have to find something that's fun. The problem is that you're up against this war with PTSD, depression, anxiety, and they don't want you to find anything fun. Okay, so this is where the game gets really interesting. For me personally, this is where everything changed. I started to realize that, okay, yeah, you know what? I've got a choice whether I can be upset or I can be happy. Now look, this isn't easy to do because look, when you're depressed and you're down and you feel like the world is kicking the shit out of you, do you really want to go tiptoeing through the tulips and having fun and laughing and joking? No, you don't. But the fact is, guys, we're going to have to find something. And see, this was a huge shock for me. Because, guys, you've heard me talk in other podcasts about, well, before I got in the fire department, I was a golf pro, right? And I absolutely loved the game of golf. Look, it wasn't just playing the game. It wasn't just the score of the game. It was watching the ball flight. Dude, I could spend hours on a driving range just hitting golf balls. Never even play the game of golf, but just hitting golf balls. There was something about it that I just absolutely loved. And when this PTSD, depression, anxiety came along, it took that, right? You know what? Honest to God, I couldn't even make it through a round of golf with my dad. Like, I wanted to quit after 9. Like, seriously, I disliked it that much. So I found myself in this terrible situation where I was like, holy shit, Carl, there's nothing you enjoy doing. And, you know, that never really hits you till it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon and you don't want to watch TV, you don't want to look at the internet, you don't want to go outside, you don't want to ride a push bike, you don't want to work out. All of a sudden, there's all these things that I don't want to do. And I was like, holy shit, Carl, you're gonna rot here, man. If you keep this mindset, you're gonna rot just like this. You have got to find something that brings you to life. Now, the really interesting thing about this is, guys, it doesn't have to make sense. None of it has to make sense. Look, I went on quite a quest trying to find stuff that I was interested in. And you know what? I came up empty-handed all the time. Yeah, look, I'd try stuff and I didn't like it. I bought a yo-yo once. I thought maybe I'll get into doing yo-yo tricks. I thought that was cool. I looked into magic. Oh, yes, I've always wanted to be a magician. Yeah, I always thought that was really, really fun. But you know what? When I ended up trying it, not for me at all. Charlotte, Jackie's daughter, is incredible on a guitar. So I thought, hey, you know what? Maybe I'll pick up a musical instrument. You know what? I could not even play the spoons. Look, playing a guitar was an absolute train wreck. So guys, I was at this enormous disadvantage where, you know, I was realizing that this game that PTSD, depression, anxiety was playing was to keep me down in this hole. And I knew I had to find stuff that kind of brought me to life again, but I couldn't find it. You know, I couldn't find it. Didn't matter where I looked. Now, look, guys, I want to tell you the mistake that I made, because inherently, whenever I tried to pick up a new hobby, and I'm embarrassed to say this, I used to think to myself, well, can I make money at it? I know that sounds terrible, but seriously, you know, I thought about, making t-shirts, funny little quotes on t-shirt. That seemed humorous to me. But then I thought, oh, geez, how can I make money at that? You know what? Will it be difficult? Do I have to buy the t-shirts? Do I have to do the screening? And all of a sudden, all this trouble about, starting a business kind of drowned out the excitement of doing the new project. So I really got messed up a little bit, didn't I? Right? Because I couldn't find anything fun. And then all of a sudden, one day I found it. Yeah, and it came in the most oddest form. And you know what it was? I was reading something on the internet, and they were talking about these things called podcasts. And I was like, what the fuck is a podcast? I've never heard of anything. And then I found out that what a podcast was it was talking. That's it. Like, that's simple. I was like, that's all a podcast is? All they do is they talk and people listen to it? I thought, fuck me, I can do that. Oh, buddy, I can talk all day, every day. No, and I actually, you know what? I actually quite enjoy doing it. So the thing is that I started looking into this, and I realized that, there really wasn't a lot of equipment needed. You needed like a microphone and, I don't know, this equalizer box. I don't really know, but a computer. And you know what? I went onto YouTube and I researched it. But you know what was interesting while I was doing all this? Guys, I was stepping forward. Yeah, I was no longer in that hole, was I? See, I always thought when you found what your thing was, you were just basically walking down the street and you kicked a rock over and holy shit, there it was. You're like, oh my God, there it is. But guys, that's not exactly how it works. You see, you get this really kind of weird spidey sense that there's something that you enjoy, but then you have to chase it. Yeah, you do. It's not like it's just right there for you. You've got to kind of chase it. And the thing is that PTSD, depression, anxiety will stop a person from doing this because it's just not worth it. Ugh, bugger. I'm so boring, right? There's no point in running after anything. But the thing is, when you find something that really kind of lights your soul up, dude, this is when you start chasing. And this is what I did with these podcasts. So I started kind of chasing after this stuff. And I realized that, holy shit, I really enjoy doing this. And what was so great about it is, guys, I think for the first 80 episodes, like 5 people listened to me, but I didn't give a shit because I enjoyed doing it. And what's really interesting about it is, even though, I wasn't to the stage that I wanted to, and obviously I didn't have the audience that I wanted to, but the fact was I was working towards something. And guys, when you're working towards something, that means you're moving away from other stuff. And that's what I found. This podcasting for me was the greatest painkiller I possibly could have, because whenever life got too much for me, you know what, I would come down here and I'd work on these podcasts. It did a double dose of good for me because I enjoyed what I was doing, and not only that, I felt like I was really helping people. You know what I mean? So the thing is that when you find yourself with this PTSD, depression, anxiety, look, there's all kinds of things out there that will help. But me personally, I think the number one thing that helped me the most was trying to reinvent myself. And it's hard to do. Like, it's not easy. But like I said, guys, don't make the mistake I did and chase that almighty dollar. No, I'm talking about finding stuff that you go, holy shit, that's a lot of fun. Look, I don't like giving out names on this podcast, you know that. But one really cool guy that I've met through this whole thing, he ties fishing flies. And I'll tell you what, it's the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. You find stuff like that in your life that brings you to life, and you'll be amazed at the dividends that it'll pay. It will really, really help that much. The thing that bothered me the most about this is that, well, for the first 8 months that I was off or so, I talked myself out of it. Yeah. You know, I did. I just thought, you know what, if your life's shit, Carl, you shouldn't be out there just having fun. Well, look, I'm sorry, guys, but this is the time that you need to have fun. I'm not talking about irresponsible fun. I'm talking about good, wholesome fun. It doesn't matter what it is. Like I said, it could be fishing. It could be woodworking. It could be reading. It could be writing a book. You may have always wanted to write a book. Look, guys, if there's stuff like this that you've always wanted to do, trust me, now is the time to do it. Regardless of how little you feel like doing it, I'm telling you, me personally, this was a huge salvation for me. Oh my God, I'll tell you what isn't a huge salvation, my time. You know what, I should really up this from 15 minutes to half an hour because look, there's so much stuff I want to tell you about this, but guys, I have to respect your time. Of course I do, because life is busy. I barely have time to listen to these damn things, never mind you guys. But guys, listen, to this whole week of WAGGS, this is what I'm going to talk about, is the stuff that I found that really gave me a shot in the arm and really, really helped me. Because even though there's lots of stuff out there, guys, these 3 things that I'm going to talk about this week, I'm telling you, they helped me out more than I could have ever imagined. So guys, look, as I always say at the end of every podcast, look, if you happen to get a chance to stop by our Facebook Live show, I really think you should. We have an absolute blast over there. What I do is I take this podcast and I do a Facebook Live with it. The reason why I do it is because, well, I get to jump in the comment section and say hi to you guys. Ooh, I do enjoy doing that. It's my most fun time of the entire night. And also, guys, before I let you go, you know I've got to let you know about my little support group I got going on. This is cool as shit, this little thing. It's called the Bunker Room. Yeah, and what it basically is it's a private group on Facebook, and it's for people that suffer with PTSD, depression, anxiety, or their family members, you know, just to help them get a little perspective on this. Yeah, because what happens is everybody goes in there and, you know, they tell their stories, what they're comfortable with, and what this will do is it'll help you read stuff and go, oh my God, you know what, I'm not the only one that deals with shit like that. It's amazing how much something like this can help, because as I say, PTSD, depression, anxiety, what it really goes after is an individual's perspective. So that's why I put the Bunker Room together, to kind of help with this situation. So guys, there you have it. We've got an entire week of WAGGS. Yes, all my embarrassing stories for your inspection, of course, and hopefully these stories help out just a little bit. So guys, as I say at the end of every podcast, if you happen to get your running shoes on and get yourself out there for a nice walk, I would highly recommend it. It'll do your soul the world of good. You guys take care of yourself. Bye now.
Thanks for listening to the PTSD Bunker Gear for Your Brain podcast. Gain more knowledge by going to ptsdbunkergearforyourbrain.com. While you're there, subscribe and comment. Join us next time for the PTSD Bunker Gear for Your Brain podcast.